Hello and welcome to day 3 of my yarn advent calendar series. Yes, I'm wearing the same thing as yesterday, and that is because it is unrealistic for me to film a video every single day in December, so we are filming these a little bit in advance. So yesterday I knit this with one hank from the advent calendar, held with another sock yarn. And this is the Sophie shawl. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, here it is again. So we're not even to the center of the shawl, so we do need to use either another one from today's day in the advent calendar or something else. Like, we still have a lot of work to do on this. I'm hoping the yarn in today's box will work well with this, so I can just continue knitting it, because I'm really enjoying knitting this. I've probably spent maybe 4 hours knitting, and it's just like so easy because it's just knit stitches. I really don't have to think. It's going very quickly. I'm having a great time knitting this. Anyway, let's see what's in day 3's little box. Here's the calendar. Okay, so here, I'll show you when I take it out. Day 3. So I did use up all of yesterday's hank, and the first day I did not use all of it because I used like half to knit the top of a sock, which I showed in yesterday's video, and so I wanted to save the other half for when I knit the second sock in that pair. Makes sense? So here's day 3. Oh fuck, it's so different than yesterday's. Oh my gosh, it's hella different. We got some gray tones here. This is very beautiful. It's gray with purple and orange and some other little sections of other colors. So this is very beautiful, but it is very different from what we were doing yesterday, which is not what I wanted. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, we could like start another Sophie shawl. I was thinking, as I was knitting the Sophie shawl with the 2 sock yarns held double, I was thinking that it might be nice to like take some of these and another sock yarn, like this for example, and hold them double and knit just like some chunky socks, because the yarn that I'm knitting right now is like very spongy and a little stretchy from the nylon, so it might be like a nice comfy thick sock, like if I held it double. So maybe I'll do that with this. And like, this is a pretty nice color. This could be a good gift sock. I'm gonna have to think about what I'm gonna do with this, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so I was just digging around in my yarn stash, and what I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna make a chunky pair of socks, and I'm going to hold this double with another yarn, a solid yarn. And I was looking at all my colors, and I think I want to keep this like the star of the 2 yarns that I'm holding together. So as I was just thinking and like looking through yarn, I was thinking like I could use an entire hank or an entire ball of yarn and like hold that for the whole sock, and then just like switch off with the little hanks. But I think I'm going to play by ear. Is that the right expression? Just like see how it goes once I start knitting, and then decide what I'm gonna do. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna hold this gray, this beautiful gray, with just white. This is a Malabrigo Ultimate Sock in, I think the color is called Natural. It's like the only white color that I could find, but I think it's called Natural. So I'm gonna hold these together, and I think I'm gonna do a cuff down sock, and I think I'm gonna use either size 4. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use size 4 needles. Let me see. Okay, I think I'm gonna try to use these. These are size 4. These are not my favorite kind of needles. If you've been watching my channel, then you know that I like the Knitter's Pride Carbon double points. These don't even have points. They're flat at the top, so hopefully this goes okay. And hopefully I don't have to buy new needles while I'm doing this, because sometimes the non-pointed needles kind of suck to work with, but maybe it'll be okay because it's going to be a chunkier combination. Although, maybe it won't be okay because I'm holding 2 yarns together and these might be like stabbing through the yarns in a not so nice way. I'm going to hold these together and cast on and wind this. And yeah, I'll show you when I have made some progress and then we can decide what we're doing next. Okay, so now we have 2 projects going. Yeah, okay, well, I'll see you in a bit. I just wound the yarn and I thought I would show you before I start knitting it. Pretty, right? Pretty. So this is our yarn combination. Okay, I'm back again and I have not started knitting, but I did start doing a swatch. So I just thought I'd show you my little swatch so far. It's actually pretty. I was like a little unsure when I started knitting this, like if I should do this yarn combination, but I think it's pretty. It's kind of doing a cool marl thing. I said that weird marl thing. And then since I am just going to like freehand a sock right now, I thought I would share how I determine my cast on, because I just learned recently how to figure out how many stitches to use, like when I'm just knitting a sock with a new needle size, a new gauge, you know. So what I do is I measure an inch of stitches. So let me see how many are in here. My gauge right now in 1 inch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5 stitches in 1 inch. And then I just multiply that by my circumference. So like I think I'm gonna do 8.5 inches. So I would just multiply 6.5 by 8.5 to get my approximate cast on number. Does that make sense? Is that what you do? I'm gonna do that. I'm going to cast on, knit my little cuff using this from the Potluck calendar. And then I'll see you after that. I might knit both cuffs, you know, since it's gonna be a pair anyway, and like I think I'm probably just gonna use this for the cuff, maybe the toe too, but I think it'll depend on what we get like in the later in the calendar too. So yeah.
Eventually,
I kind of figured out what I'm doing with this yarn. It took me a really long time to figure out what I was doing. It really did. It took me many days. What my plan was a few seconds ago in my last clip was to do a pair of socks. Chunky socks. So what I did was I got my circular needles and I was like, I'm gonna do 2 at a time socks so I can knit them at the same time. And so I took the mini hank and I unwound it halfway, and I then wound the white yarn with it halfway and cut it. So I had 2 equal balls of yarn, 40 meters each. And then I decided not to do that. you know why I decided not to do that? Because I could not remember how to cast on 2 at a time socks, and I was too lazy to look up a YouTube video, and so I got frustrated and I didn't want to do it anymore. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll make a garment, like a vest or something. So I used one of these little balls, these, what did I say, 40 meter balls, and I knit a full rib for a vest or something. And then I was like, I really have no idea what I'm gonna do with this. Like, I feel like at this point I'm just trying to think of things and I'm gonna end up with like a bunch of random stuff. So what I've decided to do is, if I don't know what to do with the mini hanks from the advent calendar, I'm going to knit them into this project, which I just started with these balls. And we're making a blanket. So all the hanks that are not inspiring to me will be made into this blanket. And I recently mentioned, back in November, I did a knit and chat with me video where I talked about wanting to knit blankets. So we are knitting the Parallelogram blanket by West Knits, and I just did this little section. So I literally spent so much time thinking about what to do with this yarn, and I knit this section and it's already ready for me to change colors. So that is what we did with this mini hank. It will appear again because I'm pretty sure it comes up again in this blanket. I really hope so. I don't want to waste any yarn. But that's the plan. So we're either going to be 100% sure about what we're doing with these mini hanks, or they're being knit into this blanket. And it's like killing two birds with one stone, because I did want to make a blanket and I don't want to waste this yarn. So yeah, that's what we made in this video, and I will see you tomorrow for day 4 of my yarn advent adventure.